of these special ones. This subservience institutionalizes the plutocratic corruption of our democratic elections, allowing a handful of uber-rich interests to buy positions of overbearing influence directly inside campaigns. This is Jim Hightower saying, donors at the $1 million and up level are expecting much more than a tote bag for their generous gifts. Of course, candidates piously proclaim, "I'm not for sale," but politicians are just the delivery service. The actual products being bought through the Supreme Court's money-orama political bazaar are our government's policies, tax breaks, and other goodies, as well as the integrity of America's democratic process.
Give yourself the investment of a lifetime. Enjoy this holiday season in a luxury estate home at Charleston Estates, the only new home neighborhood in prestigious South Redlands and smartly priced from the mid-800,000s. Charleston Estates features gourmet kitchens and California rooms that make holiday entertaining even more memorable. Homes reach 4,463 square feet with up to 5 bedrooms. Ask about our discounted HOA dues and move-in incentives, too. Visit MaliaHomes.com for details. That's MaliaHomes.com.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
What have I learned so far? I've learned that there is no one path that's right for everyone. I've learned that without my high school diploma, I can only do so much. My options were limited. I found a free personalized learning program with Learn for Life that is a flexible schedule so I could keep my job while earning my high school diploma. I found new career training opportunities that would jumpstart my future. What have I learned so far? I've learned that I can change my life.
Are you 14 to 19 years old and looking for a free high school diploma program with flexible meeting times? This program allows you to keep your job or important family responsibilities while earning your high school diploma. If you've fallen behind on credits or dropped out of school completely, get back on track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN4LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
If you're a business owner, retiree, or you are about to retire, then you can't afford to miss an episode of Safe Money Talk with Rick Lee Wag. Safe Money Talk is the show that bypasses the hype and hysteria and gives you the straight talk about threats to your life savings and how to build your fortress against threats such as higher taxes, inflation, and healthcare costs. Every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, author and financial expert Rick Lee Wag will discuss the issues that have the potential to impact your retirement and business income. Starting at 6 p.m. only on KCAA.
KCAA.
Welcome to Safe Money Talk with Rick Lee Wag. Rick is a safe money specialist, primarily serving Southern California, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Lee Wag is a licensed insurance professional in the state of California and specializes in working with business owners, people who are near retirement, or those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk to you about safe money and retirement, your host, Rick Lee Wag.
Hello again and welcome to Safe Money Talk with Rick Lee Wag, coming to you live from the studios at KCAA AM 1050 in sunny Southern California. Well, it's another Tuesday, another 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock show talking about all the threats to your business and your retirement savings. Safe Money Talk. This is the show where you're going to get the straight talk about all the threats to your retirement savings in your business that you're probably not going to hear from your CPA, your financial planner, your stockbroker for sure, and probably not from your attorney or your group health insurance agent. This is where we're going to tell you some of the unseen landmines that are out there that are threatening both your business and your retirement savings. Just the other day, I was reading an article about how seniors spend their time, how retirees spend their time, and it was interesting because a senior's free time, the survey came up with this that I thought was rather funny, is that most seniors spend 70% of their free time having fun and enjoying themselves doing something recreationally. And I thought, man, that's great. I can't wait till I retire. But as I went down the list of the things that seniors spend their time on, I was amazed to find out that less than 1%, about 0.5% of seniors' free time is spent on learning and studying and finding out new things, just any kind of learning and studying, and especially studying their finances. And I thought that was awfully strange because whenever I travel and I speak to Rotary clubs or different groups, I find that a lot of people have a lot of questions about their finances and their retirement and their business and how Obamacare is going to impact them and taxes. Yet most of them have an advisor. Most of them have a CPA. They have a tax person. They have some financial advisor that's giving them advice. And in most cases, they've pretty much just given over their money management to this financial advisor. And I thought that was rather strange because, I'm used to folks overseeing their money, that kind of watching it. My father-in-law is a perfect example of that. He's an 80-year-old retired doctor. And he's never really let loose of his money. He's always kind of managed his own stock portfolio, and he does an awful lot of reading. So he doesn't fall into that 70% of his free time spent on recreation. My mother-in-law doesn't let him do that. In fact, my father-in-law probably spends 50% of his time reading and learning, and he stays on top of that. But he's the exception, not the rule. And I've always thought it strange how seniors and business owners choose their financial advisors. And most of the time, the feedback that I get is, well, I was referred by so-and-so, or he was a nice guy. He's a nice guy. And I ask them all the time, what kind of questions is your advisor asking you? What kind of questions are you asking your advisor? And I always get the same answer. Well, I don't really know what to ask them because I'm so confused. And if that's you, if you're driving home tonight or you're sitting watching us live, you can stream this on kcaaradio.com, and you're probably confused too. I'm in the industry. I study this all day, every day, and even I get confused sometimes because people that I think that are experts, compared to other experts, they're saying contrary things. Some say the dollar is going to be great to have. Some say let loose of all your dollars. So what should we do? I'm going to be 60 years old next year. What should we all do to protect our hard-earned money? And some rules of thumb that I want to pass on to you, because it's not rocket science. One thing that I will tell you that advisors try to do is they try to make it so complicated that you don't want to even mess with it. They try to talk about consumer price index and inflation and this and that and what the European Union's doing and watch this and watch that. It's not rocket science. It really isn't rocket science. But I will tell you the things that you should consider as a business owner and folks that are our age, over 50. It's better to be safe than sorry. That's one great rule of thumb. The second rule of thumb when it comes to your money and your business is the best offense is usually a good defense. And I look back on 2008, especially 2008, because advisors had a really nice run for about 4 or 5 years, much like we have had the last 4 or 5 years. And in 2009, when I started talking to seniors saying, why did you leave your money here? Why did you have it here? And that person would tell me, well, that's where my advisor told me to put it. And but he was such a nice guy. I didn't expect it to collapse. Nobody expected that, really. Look back on this. 2 of the smartest guys in the financial world, Ben Bernanke, who was the Fed chairman at the time, okay, chairman of the Federal Reserve, pretty smart guy, no doubt about that, and Hank Paulson, who was the head of Goldman Sachs, which is disputably probably one of the strongest investment banks in the world. Both of them, literally just days or weeks before the big crash, the financial meltdown, they were telling everybody that the economy was great. It was grand. So what I want to talk about when it comes to financial disasters or financial meltdowns or stock market crashes or whatever you want to call them, corrections, it's not if, it's when. And what are you doing now to prepare yourself to protect yourself? What are you doing as a good defense to make sure that you're taking care of the good offense? And again, at our age, it's better to be safe than sorry. And one of the solutions that I recommend to everybody as part of your retirement savings and income portfolio is to have a fixed indexed annuity. Now, whenever I say that, people seem to cringe up, roll their eyes, and scrunch up. It's like, oh gosh, are you going there again? But it's almost like if you have a gun in your house, doesn't it make sense to have a gun safe? Do you wear a helmet when you jump out of an airplane and you got a parachute on? Do you wear a helmet when you ride your motorcycle? Do you wear a seatbelt? Safety is paramount. Safety, and the older you get, the less you want to do things that cause you to wear a helmet. So if that's the case, why do you have your assets where they're exposed to so much risk and so much uncertainty when there are places that you can put it? There are solutions you can do that are safe, this makes sense, protect your money. It doesn't expose it to risk. You can still get some type of gain in up markets, and you're protected from down markets. So at the risk of just harping on this one particular solution, which I think is ideal, and there's 2 or 3 others that you should always consider as part of your safe money portfolio, instead of me talking about it today, which I typically do on the road, I've invited 2 gentlemen that I consider probably experts above and beyond almost anybody I know in the country on this particular subject. And these are 2 gentlemen that I go to get advice and to learn about the nuances of this particular product and how it works, when it works the best, how it fits with seniors' portfolio. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Eric and Justin. I've known them now for a while. They do not have clients, individual clients like you and I. They are mentors and advisors to advisors. So advisors that do what I do all over the country go to Eric Grunwald and Justin Snap to get their advice. So these guys are considered experts in their field on life insurance and fixed indexed annuities. I've invited them on tonight's show to talk more about this one particular product, and I want to peel back the onion for you folks because there are so many myths and so many lies and so many misconceptions and so much misunderstanding about this one particular product that some people love and some people hate. I want to get an expert in here to talk about this, and first of all, I want to thank Justin for coming on because he's a big Kansas City Royals fan, and I know he's probably missing the World Series right now to be on our show. But, Joe, are they on? Are they here? Can we bring them in?
Yes, Eric's here.
Hi, guys. Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it going, Rick?
It's doing great. We have Eric Grunwald and Justin Snap from Innovative Brokerage Network out of St. Louis, Missouri. And, fellas, we're talking about fixed indexed annuities tonight. And I want you guys to pick up the ball, and instead of me being the evangelist and me being the cheerleader and sounding like a salesperson, let's peel back the onion and let's kind of expose the myths. And I want the listeners, whether it's on the podcast or on the live show, I want them to hear the straight skinny about this one product. And you guys don't have any incentive in this. I mean, these aren't potential clients that are listening on the radio right now. Your clients are guys like me. So first, right off the bat, I want you guys to talk a little bit, tell the audience who you are, what you guys do and about your company and why we should even listen to you.
Sure. Justin, want to go ahead and tackle that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, of course, Rick, for having us on the show. I appreciate it.
You bet. Buddy.
And yes, I'm definitely watching or trying to catch the score of the game between time, but I appreciate the time here. I'm unlike a lot of people in our industry. I actually got into this industry on purpose. My grandfather passed away very suddenly when he was 75 years old, and he literally worked until the day before he died. And he had a modest estate worth about $1.5 million. And because he didn't have all the things in place that he needed to have an estate, taxes taken care of, the family lost a lot of money to it. And so, unfortunately, when I was in college, I learned this firsthand that, you have to have a plan in place. And so that's what we do day in and day out, is consult financial advisors and independent insurance agents and advisors and help them, deal with guarantees in retirement as well as life insurance. And so I appreciate the time, and I'm looking forward to putting whatever input I can.
You betcha. Eric, how about a little bit about your background? And then tell us real quick how and why you and Justin partnered up to form Innovative Brokerage Network and what you guys actually do as far as advising advisors and how you teach them, mentor them, and educate them.
Sure. I myself have been in the business right around about 18 years or so, and a majority of that time spending, as you said, working with other advisors and agents and money managers throughout the country and working with them on what we call the fixed product, annuities, life insurance, and so on and so forth. Justin and I started the Innovative Brokerage Network with a common goal here in the United States of America. The goal is to have a piece of the American dream, and that piece of the American dream to us was to become business owners and start an organization that was really focused around our client, and that is the advisor, and helping them understand products, understand what they have at their fingertips through us, and educating the general public, their clients. You talked about the product with a lot of misconceptions out there, talking about the fixed index annuity. Rick, I have to tell you that this is a product that has really evolved over the last, let alone the 5 years, but last decade. A lot of misconceptions with the fixed index annuity. First and foremost, a lot of times you'll hear very long surrender charge periods.
Well, Eric, let me interrupt you just a quick second, okay? Because before we make this a product conversation, I want to come back full circle, and I want to talk about problems and then how these products solve those problems and become solutions. So I apologize for interrupting, because I know you're anxious to talk about this product, because you and I know Justin, believe that this thing is a cornerstone and a great foundation tool for anybody's retirement savings, especially in today's market. But first, what I want you to relay to me and the audience is this. You guys consult and advise advisors, and you help them help their clients. Tell me, each one of you or one of you, what is the feedback that you guys are getting from all around the United States? Because I know you have hundreds of advisors all around the United States that you consult with and advise and train and mentor. What's the biggest questions and the biggest needs that you're finding all around the country from people that are over 50 or 55, business owners and pre-retirees and retirees? What's the biggest problem, question, or need that advisors are coming back to you guys and saying, man, it's happening again. This is what they asked for. This is what they need. What is that or those things?
Sure. I'm going to answer that in twofold. I think we hear a lot day in, day out through advisors throughout the country from, again, this is coming from their clients, Rick. Two big fears. One, fear of market volatility and what it's going to do to their retirement nest egg.
Which is valid.
Absolutely valid. And number two, outliving their money in retirement and whether or not they have to work longer because of what's transpired over the last 10, 20 years in the marketplace, requiring folks to work longer. So fear of outliving their money, their retirement nest egg, and fear of going through another market crash. And what would that happen?
Okay. So and I agree. And there's a lot of consternation out there. There's a lot of confusion, but I agree from my perspective. I have clients. I talk to clients. They don't articulate it that way. The way it's articulated to me is, I really don't want my money to run out. I don't know when I'm going to die. If I knew when I was going to die, that'd be great. And I really don't know where to put it to where I can still have it grow and then not get wiped out in a crash. Justin, you agree with those two? So, because if
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And I would say, really, I think simplistically, if you look at it, I think it comes down to peace of mind. We're able to help advise our clients, discuss with their clients, and in today's world of uncertainty, it's really nice to be able to come to the table and offer a guaranteed option or a guaranteed product that's able to fit the needs of what they have. And so really being able to give that peace of mind is something that, truthfully, that, the consumer doesn't have very much of today. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. And so if you can settle that uneasiness with, uncertainty in their retirement or, in their lifestyle, what would happen if something, would happen to them, and, you're able to really solve a big piece of the puzzle.
Okay. So the big questions that are out there, the main ones, is market volatility. What's it going to do to my asset, to my portfolio, to my retirement nest egg? And number two, how do I coordinate how much I take out with my life to make sure my life doesn't run out before my money does? So that's the problem that we're going to address after the break. Real quick, we're going to take a quick break because my right-hand man here, Joe, is screaming at me. We got to take a break and go to commercial. We're going to talk about a solution and how to use this one particular product for the solution. You're not going to want to leave. You're going to want to come back. We'll be right back. This is Safe Money Talk with Rick Lewag at 1050 AM KCAA. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors on Medicare, pre-retirees, and business owners. If you're thinking that Obamacare won't affect you, think again. The more you learn about Obamacare, the more you will discover that everyone is affected by this legislation, seniors and business owners most of all. Take steps now to safeguard yourself, your family, your business, and your retirement income from the ravages of Obamacare. Call Rick Lewag's toll-free number, 1-800-284-3887, and Rick will rush you a complimentary copy of his popular Obamacare Survival Kit. This kit will help you discover ways you can lessen the impact of Obamacare on you, your loved ones, and your business. Obamacare is here, and it could very well threaten everything for which you have worked so hard. So, call 1-800-284-3887. Again, that's 1-800-284-3887 to get your Obamacare Survival Kit today. It's absolutely free.
Attention seniors on Medicare, if you think Obamacare won't affect you, think again. The more you learn about Obamacare, the more you'll discover that everyone is impacted, especially seniors on Medicare. You must take action now to safeguard your wealth from the unintended consequences of Obamacare. Call our toll-free number at 1-800-284-3895 and we'll rush you a free copy of our popular Obamacare Survival Kit. Call 1-800-284-3895 now and reserve your copy. Again, that's 1-800-284-3895.
One name you should know, the best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
It's summer savings time at Toyota of Escondido. For the first time ever, you can drive home any bold new 2015 Camry or gas-saving Prius Hybrid with 0 APR factory financing for 60 months. Don't miss out.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
Come in today and save more than ever before on over 12.5 acres of new and pre-owned Toyotas. 0 APR factory financing on approved good credit. 60 monthly payments of $16.67 per $1,000 borrowed. Down payment varies with credit.
Toyota of Escondido.
Financing includes dealer fees and excludes tax and license. Ends July 6th.
KCAA.
Welcome back to Safe Money Talk. This is Rick Lewag coming to you from the studios at KCAA 1050 AM. Before the break, we had Eric Grunwald and Justin Snap from Innovative Brokerage Network out of St. Louis, Missouri. They are advisors to advisors. They're the ones that teach, train, and mentor advisors like me and others throughout the country that work directly with clients. I am a retirement savings and income specialist, and we were talking with Eric and Justin about the biggest question that advisors come back to them and the biggest problems right now in the country. Number one is market volatility and concern about that by seniors. And number two is how do they prolong and preserve their nest egg to make sure that their life doesn't end before their money does. Guys, now I want to talk about what we originally wanted to talk about was fixed index annuities and how they specifically can provide a solution to those two biggest concerns right now for seniors in the United States. Tell me, what are the biggest misconceptions or myths about fixed indexed annuities right off the bat?
Number one, Rick, again, this is Eric speaking. One thing people always say, I don't have access to my money. Well, we all know, I should say, advisors and folks who use the product know that absolutely a client has access to the money through some liquidity features, such as free withdrawals and things of that nature. Also, which I started to say earlier, is that, again, long in fees and not really too many benefits. But the fact of the matter is they've come a long, long way since their introduction.
Well, hang on, because I do want you to expound a little bit on this liquidity component, because that is something I hear all the time is once I give the insurance company my money, it's gone. I can't get it out, even if I have an emergency. So maybe you can expound in a minute or so on exactly what those provisions are in most that allow somebody to get to their nest egg or that portion of their nest egg in case they need to.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, a lot of them do offer, and most do, I should say, a free amount withdrawal.
Okay.
So, in other words,
surrender fee amount.
Surrender fee amount.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, it may be, which is very typical in the industry among products, is a 10% free amount.
Okay.
And that would be year in, year out, Rick. So
every
again,
year they could take out 10% of their balance without a surrender fee if they needed to.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's pretty liquid.
If and I know you probably will go into this a little further, but if there's a situation where he or she may be subject to a nursing facility or catastrophic event, or something as a critical event such as a stroke, a lot of times there's products out there that offer riders, again, a liquidity feature to tap into that benefit while you're on care.
So during the surrender fee period, which usually goes down every year, right? During that period, if that insured or the client happens to have a critical or terminal illness diagnosis and they want to get all of their money out of that annuity, if they're diagnosed with a terminal or critical illness or confined to a nursing home, they can take all that money out without a surrender fee, correct?
Correct.
That's pretty liquid too. That's awfully liquid. So these aren't really savings accounts, or they're not liquid accounts that you can move money in and out. I would say that from what you just explained, I recommend that clients, if they're going to use a fixed index annuity, that's money that they want absolutely safe under every circumstance. And I ask them, if you're going to put some money away in a nice, safe place, when will you actually need to access that money? Not your investment money, or not your not your liquid money, but this is your sacrosanct money. This is money that you want absolutely surrounded by a hedge of thorns and protected. When would you actually access that money, and what would be the circumstances? Most of them, Eric, tell me this. Well, all I could really think of, Rick, is if I had some kind of catastrophic expense. And I'd say, okay, what would constitute a catastrophic expense, and what would that come from? Most of the time, I get animated when I talk about this. Joe, my engineer's laughing. Most of the time, Eric, these clients are telling me it would be a catastrophic medical expense. Like I got confined to a nursing home and I needed to get the money. So they could get to it if that's the case, correct? So that's a myth. That's a myth that your money's tied up and you can't get to it until the surrender fee's gone. Okay, so that's one myth. Any others?
Yeah, and I think, Rick, I could, one that I have that, really just drives me crazy is that, that there is a conception with some in the public that just because this commission pays an upfront, or that this product pays an upfront commission, that it has to be bad. The commissions range from 4, 5, 6, maybe 7%. But while that is true, but you look at it, it's a one-time commission that's done. Now, it's not that it's it never affects the client or the consumer. Maybe 4% comes out in the first year, but nothing comes out from it. And you look at some of the people that harp on that the most are financial advisors or registered investment advisories. And you look at their asset fees on the assets they have, they might have be paying 1.5%, 2.25% fees every
Justin,
year.
That is a great point. And I'll tell you, I was a stockbroker. And when we sold mutual funds, those 4% commissions came. If a person invested $100,000, they invested 96 because 4,000 came out in commissions. And every quarter, every annual fee was taken. They had commission fees, trailer fees. Money managers today, charge anywhere from 1% to 2% of the total portfolio, whether you make money or lose money. The government's thinking about taxing people's wealth. So if they had $2 million and went down to $1 million, in today's market, you don't pay any tax because you didn't make any income. In that environment, you would pay tax on your wealth, and people are all in an uproar over that, Justin. Yet it's interesting because many of those people that are in an uproar about being taxed that way have been paying their money manager that way for 10 years, and they never had any qualms about it at all. So you're right. So there is commissions with everything, with financial advisors for the most part, unless it's a fee-based financial advisor and they pay by the hour. But again, with fixed index annuities, that commission does not come out of the deposit or the premium. It's paid directly by the insurance company, correct? So that is one bone of contention. Do me a quick favor, explain, and without getting too technical, guys, about how the interest is credited in indexed annuities, because that's the biggest, besides the liquidity, the other confusion about fixed index annuities is, well, if I'm going to be in the market anyways, why don't I just invest in a mutual fund? And it's a huge misconception that clients have, that a fixed indexed annuity is actually invested into either the Standard & Poor's or the Dow Jones or a mutual fund. That's more like a variable annuity. But explain the interesting, without getting too technical, explain how that interest is credited and when it would not be credited, and why the client can't lose money in a fixed index annuity.
Sure, I'll tackle that one. First and foremost, the fixed index annuity is a contract. It's not, you're not participating in the actual marketplace, such as you said, Rick, the S&P 500. Okay, in regards to the way these products do get credited some interest, they'll use an indices such as the S&P 500 as a mere figure to calculate a gain. So, for example, if the S&P 500 on January 1 is X of 2016, and then by January 1 of 2017 is another figure, and that figure happens to be a positive figure, potentially, let's say it's 5%, potentially all that 5% gain could be a credit by way of an interest to that of the annuity. So again, they do not. The client, the policyholder, is just that, a policyholder of a contract, not of an investment vehicle that participates directly in the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 500. Excuse me, S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 100, and so on and so forth.
The key word you use there, Eric, is interest. If it were an equity or a bond fund, if it was a stock fund, a mutual fund, a variable annuity, it would grow via capital gains or dividends, which are taxed differently. Interest is associated with a savings vehicle like a CD, okay, or interest on a bond, okay? So you're right. That's absolutely correct. Thank you. You're not actually invested into the Dow Jones or the Standard & Poor's. What the insurance company does is say, look, we're going to pay you interest, but the interest is going to be, instead of us just giving you the money market rate, we're going to make it a little bit more sexy. You want something to do with the market? Let's link the interest that we're going to pay you based on how the Standard & Poor's index performs, how the Dow Jones Commercial Real Estate performs, whatever index you want to choose. So you're not invested into that particular real estate, gold, or stocks, or mutual fund, or you're just your interest is linked to how that index performs. Hence, Justin, if it doesn't perform and it goes down and loses money, what happens then?
Yeah, it's actually it's a great question, Ray, because what happens if the indices that they're watching or tracking, there actually is no loss that's attributed to the client.
Okay, so if my fixed indexed annuity is, and my interest is associated with the Standard & Poor's 500 index, and that has a heart attack and dies, and it loses 30% in 1 year, my value doesn't, unlike a mutual fund, my value in my fixed index annuity doesn't go down 30%.
Exactly. It is credited 0% for that
I
period.
just don't make anything. Okay, I just make zero interest. So let me give you a real quick analogy that I like to use. And you guys can laugh at me because you know me and I come up with these goofy analogies. Imagine going to Las Vegas and you sit at a specific table, and the pit boss says, okay, welcome to this table. If you're going to sit at this table, you have to sit at this table for a set amount of time, or else we're going to take some of your chips. Every hour that goes by, we're going to take less and less chips. If you leave in the third hour, we're going to take X amount of chips out of your pile. But here's how this blackjack table is different. Every time you bet, if you lose, we're not going to take any of your chips. What? No, if you lose, we're not going to take any chips away. We're not going to give you any, but we're not going to take any away. But if you win, we're only going to give you half of what you won. How many people would rush to Vegas to have that? No risk, but you're only going to get half of what if you win. If you bet 10 chips, you're only going to get 5. If you bet 10 chips and you lose, you don't get anything, but you don't lose anything. And then at the end of that set amount of hours, you can get up and leave anytime you want. And oh, by the way, if you happen to get sick with a critical illness or a terminal illness, we'll let you out of the table and we won't take any of your chips. That's a great analogy. That's a lot of times how I explain this, and people, their eyes light up. What are some, before we take another break here, and I want to thank you guys for joining, because our third segment, we're doing something different, but this is a topic that we could talk on for hours. What are some of the key features of fixed index annuities that consumers should know about based from this show? What are some of the things that you want listeners to leave and say, I didn't know that? Or what do you want to leave them with, key features on a fixed? Mostly this is, guys, this is where I'm going with this. When does it make sense and when does it not make sense? Because as big of cheerleaders as we are about this, it doesn't always fit the need. Not always. It's not always the right thing to do. But so when is it and when is it not, in your opinions?
I would say, in my opinion, and the client has to be, just like any type of contract or investment, has to be suitable and prudent. So when this makes sense is when perhaps, and I know you'll dive into this, some of the other features that these products do provide, but when, again, it goes back to the beginning, when the clients do have fear of the market, when they can't lose their nest egg, they can't go through another '08. That's detriment to their retirement nest egg. One thing, just want to piggyback real quick on what you were talking about earlier with the chips and gambling, or I should say going to Vegas.
That's not even gambling. What I described, Eric, can't even be considered gambling.
Yeah, right. Would be considered, but this going back to that, and again, what we hear from people out there, from our advisors, clients like you, Rick, is that their clients always say, it's too good to be true, right? So this is too good to be true. And the only thing you give up is a portion of the upside potentially in some of these products. So, but again, coming back and saying, I mean, it comes back to the volatility of the market. These folks cannot go through another '08 recession.
Okay. All right. And when it's, I would say when it's not suitable is if the person has to have access to that money quickly, for living expenses, let's say. However, Justin, before we jump into the next product real quick, and we don't have much time to get into that product, but I do want to touch on it because I have you both, is one of the things that makes fixed indexed annuities unique as a retirement income and savings tool is the fact that you can convert it into an income stream that you cannot outlive, right? Can you tell us a little bit how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. As Eric mentioned, there's a little bit in some of the...
Which does solve the second problem, which is people worrying that they're going to outlive their money, right?
Right. Some of the uncertainty or unfamiliarity with this product is that there's, as Eric said, there's a little bit of a sense of too good to be true. This product offers the ability to participate in market gains and get credit for market gains without any downside risk when it comes to returns. But at the same time, this is, we all know retirement. Hopefully everyone has a long and joyous retirement, and they, for 20, 30, maybe even 40 years after they, they work so hard for their money. With this product, you have the ability never to outlive your income stream. And we deal with it day in and day out. Retirement is not about assets. Retirement is about income.
Right.
And if you can go to a client and guarantee an income for a lifetime, and also give the caveat that if they become terminally ill or have a critical or chronic illness, they actually, with some cases, they actually can double that income stream for a limited amount of time. It's a very powerful solution to discuss, and something that is really worth noting. They're much more flexible and much more consumer-centric than some of the naysayers out there believe.
Wow. So this Charlie Brown of financial products that just doesn't get, it's a Rodney Dangerfield of financial products that just has not gotten any respect, and why that is, I have no idea. However, I will say this, and guys, you have to agree, I've been associated with this industry for a long time. In 1988, I was working in a bank as a stockbroker and investment officer, and I think that banks have done a fabulous job of educating the general public about CDs. But the insurance industry has done a terrible job about educating people about fixed indexed annuities and how they work. And if the insurance industry would have done half as good a job as the brokerage industry talking about investments and the banking industry talking about savings accounts and CDs and giving away toasters, our clients would have survived much better through 2008. They will survive much better in the next crash, because it's not if, it's when. And so everybody that I talk to, I highly recommend these as a considered product solution for a portion of their financial retirement savings and income portfolio. Guys, we got to take a break. I want to thank you for being on. We did want to talk about one other product. We're not going to have time. But fellas, I appreciate you being on. Justin, especially the first night of the World Series with your big team on. Thank you, guys. You did a great job. Anybody listening, I'm sure you got a lot of value out of this, and I'm sure there was something on here that we informed you and enlightened you about that you didn't know before. We'll be right back. This is Rick Lewag with Safe Money Talk. 1050 AM KCAA.
Never before has there been a piece of legislation that impacts so many Americans in so many ways as the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. This ponderous bill is now the law of the land, yet many of us do not yet fully understand how it impacts our health care, our finances, even our retirement. It's hard to get past all the political rhetoric and grandstanding politicians and learn the truth about Obamacare. That's why Rick Luwag wants to offer you his free Obamacare Survival Kit. This kit contains information you need right now to protect your business and retirement from the effects of Obamacare. There are no strings attached, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose by calling Rick's toll-free number right now and reserving your copy. That's 1-800-284-3887. Your survival kit is waiting for you now at 1-800-284-3887. That's 1-800-284-3887.
Attention business owners, if you're concerned about the financial impact of Obamacare on your business, if higher health insurance rates will have a devastating impact on your bottom line, then you need to write down this number right now, 1-800-284-3895. We'll rush you a free copy of our popular Obamacare Survival Kit. This kit will help you discover ways you can lessen the impact of Obamacare on your business. Reserve your copy. Again, that's 1-800-284-3895.
U&I Auto Truck Parts and Wrecking is loaded with 15 acres of used, salvaged, and rebuilt parts for your car or truck. Sure, you could go to any wrecking yard, but U&I has what it takes. Expertise, high-quality products, and the finest customer service you'll receive anywhere. U&I makes custom drive shafts, furnishes full warranties on all their parts, and keeps up on industry changes. Call 909-888-6841. You'll be impressed by the fast and friendly response from the U&I skilled staff. You can also go to the Contact Us page and request a part. U&I hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 3. U&I Auto Truck Parts and Wrecking is located at 1435 West Rialto Avenue in San Bernardino. Check out the U&I webpage at the letter U, the letter I, autoparts.com, or call 909-888-6841. 909-888-6841.
Southern California's Inland Talk Express is KCAA.
Welcome back. This is Rick Luwag at KCAA 1050 AM and Safe Money Talk. If you missed the last two segments, you missed a lot of information. Eric and Justin, we had Eric Grunwald and Justin Snap on from Innovative Brokerage Network. They advise advisors, and we were talking about the biggest questions that seniors have out there in America, what advisors are bringing them back as far as questions. And those two were, how do I survive market volatility? How do I protect myself? And how do I make sure that I don't outlive my money? And so one of those solutions we talked about was fixed index annuities. And I guarantee for those of you listening either live or on the podcast, you heard something that you probably didn't know before. And so if you want more information, don't hesitate to give me a call at 800-274-3891. I want to expound a little bit on that. On that particular solution is, I run into people all the time that they're basically telling me, well, I don't really think anything's going to go wrong. I think the government will bail us out. And I don't want to sound like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, but things go in cycles. Everything goes in cycles, and especially the financial markets. And if you've been paying any attention at all, you know that things are teetering. They are teetering. Our economy's not doing great, okay? And any upswing that you're hearing about, I'm not quite sure. I've talked to a bankruptcy attorney today, and he said he doesn't see the economy changing. China is playing with their economy. The European Union is doing crazy things. Our national debt is ridiculous, $20 trillion. and interest rates are as low as you could possibly go. So one little move in any one of those areas is gonna kind of rock the boat a bit, especially interest rates going up. But I still see folks being ostriches saying, no, my advisor tells me I'm diversified. My advisor tells me I'm okay. My advisor's a nice guy. He's telling me not to worry. Well, back to the beginning of the show, Bernanke and Paulson were telling everybody the same thing a week or two before the 2008 financial meltdown. And it reminds me of a conversation, or I was in a Methodist church in Georgia one time, and I heard the preacher talking about something that I never ever forgot, and I applied it to different areas of my life. And he was discussing a make-believe conversation between a Christian and an atheist. And I'm going to use that conversation and have it be an analogy for what I'm trying to explain to you here. And for all intents and purposes, the Methodist minister said that the conversation between the Christian and the atheist went like this. The Christian told the atheist, if you're right and I'm wrong, when we die, I don't lose and you don't lose, but we don't win at all. Neither one of us win or lose if you, the atheist, are right and I'm wrong. There's no heaven, there's no hell, whatever. But if I'm right and you're wrong, when we die, I win big and you lose big. So my message in that is when I'm evangelizing this, protect your money, protect your money, protect your money, I know it's sexy to be able to have your money grow and see it in the stock market and grow 13%. But it's not so sexy when that turns on you and it does something different. So my point being is this. You can have your cake and eat it too. We just described a product that literally, Joe, allows you, if you think about this, if you really think about what we just described, what Eric and Justin explained to you, it is a marvelous way for you to have your cake and eat it too. You want to participate in the upside of gold or real estate or the stock market, you can pick a fixed indexed annuity that is the interest is associated with one of those indexes. So if those go up, you can participate if it does grow. But you don't have to suffer the losses if they happen, which they will go down. Joe at the break was asking me, I said, Joe, did you get any information? He said, yeah, but I got an awful lot of questions. And one of the things that he asked was a great question. Tell me about the indexes. Are there different indexes? I said, Joe, there's indexes for everything now. You have a Dow Jones Commercial Real Estate Index. You have a gold index. You have a Standard & Poor's index. You have international emerging markets indexes. But remember, they're just indexes. You're not invested in those. Your interest is just credited. And one of the things that Joe, my right-hand man here, was amazed at is that you can literally diversify within the annuity. So you can say, hey, listen, I want 50% of my deposit, my premium, to go into the Standard & Poor's index. So if that grows, but I also want to hedge that a bit. So I want to put 25% of it I want that to be linked to the Dow Jones Commercial Real Estate Index, and then I want 25% as a hedge again, and I want that to be attached to the gold index. So common sense would say if the stock market went down, gold would go up. So they're hedging within that fixed indexed annuity, and hence, based on what we talked about with Justin and Eric, if any of them went down or all of them went down, you wouldn't lose any principal. You would only not get interest. Nice. Have your cake and eat it too. So again, I'm going back to the atheist and the Christian in that conversation. If I'm right, and there is going to be a big crash, and there is going to be a big correction and another meltdown because of all the things that the government's doing and it's going on in the economy, if I'm right and you're wrong, and you do what I advise you to do or what people like me, safe money guys, advise you to do. If we lose, if things go wrong, we don't lose. But if you're right and I'm wrong, and you keep doing what your broker tells you to do, for example, or your advisor, CFP, that's got you invested heavily in the market, and I'm wrong, and we don't have that, or we do have that, and and the market crashes, and you didn't take that advice, you lose big. You lose big, and I don't lose big. So just consider that. Again, it goes back to safe money strategy is basically common sense. It's better to be safe than sorry, and a good offense is always a good defense. And it goes always use Warren Buffett's rule of thumb. Warren Buffett, his number one lesson is when investing, if you can't have a sure thing, if you don't have inside information like he does and basically trade on inside information because he owns the companies, his number one lesson in investing is do not lose money. Do not lose money under any circumstance. And it's not because he's Simon Legree or he's Scrooge. It's that Mr. Buffett, like other wealthy people, he understands a simple principle of money, is that it's better to not make any money than it is to lose it. And the reason is because the percentage of gain that you have to make up the losses are greater than the percentage of loss. If you lose 25%, you have to gain over 35% to get back that 25%, to get back to where you started. And that's very, very difficult for seniors who are no longer contributing to their retirement plans and taking money out. I talk about this in every show. If you lose 25% of your retirement nest egg and you're taking out your RMDs, which are close to 4%, and you're not contributing to that anymore, if you're not contributing to your IRA or your 401k because you're retired, and you're taking money out, and you have a 25% loss, the chances are really good that you're never going to recoup that loss, regardless what the market does. The chances are very good in your lifetime you're not going to recoup that loss. So if you're no longer contributing to your 401k or your IRA, and you're starting to take money out, or you're living off of it, either through RMDs or just pulling money out to supplement your retirement pension or Social Security, any losses incurred to your retirement nest egg are magnified, absolutely magnified. So you have to be even more careful than somebody in their 20s and 30s. We're just about over for the week. I want to recap real quickly what we talked about. We talked about the two biggest concerns out there, according to Justin and Eric and the advisors that they talked to. The two biggest concerns that coming back from the field, so to speak, about seniors is, number one, how do I protect myself from market volatility? Number two is, how do I make sure that my money lasts as long as my life does, at least? And then we got in the second segment, we talked about a solution for that, which is the fixed index annuity. If you need more questions answered and you want more information, don't hesitate to call me at 800-274-3891. And then we talked basically about how to make sure that you protect your income and protect your retirement nest egg from just about any of the minefields that are out there. We'll be back next week, same time. Make sure you tell all your friends and relatives to tune in to Safe Money Talk with Rick Lewag. You can always, if you miss the show live, you can log in to kcaaradio.com and you can listen to tonight's show in the next 5 or 10 minutes, or any of the archive shows that we've done. I want to thank you for listening. Again, if you want to get back with me, you can reach me at 800-274-3891. Take care. See you next week.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Exploring science and the sea. In September of 1938, a monster hurricane roared across New York and New England. Sustained winds topped 120 miles per hour, and a massive storm surge flooded cities and towns. The storm killed about 600 people and